And welcome to the Antlered Crown podcast.
Welcome.
How are you today, Elwin?
I'm wonderful. How are you today, Amanda?
Fantastic.
Oh.
Fucking spectacular.
Oh, there it is. The fucking spectacular. Good.
What are we talking about today?
Psychic burnout.
Psychic burnout, episode 3. We are re-recording this episode.
Because we lost it.
Because we lost it because our hard drive died.
Yes.
I hope we can get episode 4 back.
Yes, because it's on the hard drive. Otherwise, we're going to have to call our guest and say, can we do it again?
Do you want to come back?
I'm so sorry. We'll see. You'll find out.
What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking peppermint tea. And it's nice. It's a bit lukewarm.
I like your mug that you have your tea in.
I thank you. My wife got it for me.
Oh, she seems like a nice lady.
She's all right.
I'm drinking Tetley's tea with a splash of oat milk.
Better give it back to him then. Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Should we start with our Ask Elwin segment?
Why not?
Would you like to explain what the Ask Elwin segment is?
You ask me questions, I answer them.
And I also answer them. I assist.
It says Ask Elwin. It doesn't say Ask Elwin and Amanda.
Nobody knows me.
You asked me to explain. Don't make me feel bad because your name's not in it. It was your idea.
Fuck's sake.
Ask us.
Ask us. Basically, right. I will put one of us will put a, I can't think. A question, post. Yeah, a post on our Instagram stories, or we have a Google submission, and you can just go in there and throw in your question.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a reading, don't put in readings.
Don't
People have been asking for readings. I was like, brother.
Go to the website and get a reading. What's the matter with you?
This is more just like a... my house is haunted, or...
Yeah, the simple things.
Yeah, my wife left me. What do I do?
My wife get another wife. It's obvious, isn't it?
I found a potato with pins in my backyard. What do I do with it?
Boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew. Take the pins out first.
Take the pins out first, though. Okay, so this question is from Ozzy Tater.
Hello,
and it was on our Google form. How can one cleanse an object that seems to accumulate tough feelings? Is there a way to keep it from doing so? My backstory. I have a necklace that I care about wearing because it has a picture of a deity that's special to me. But every time I wear it, more challenging feelings seem to come up. That's why I think it may need to be cleansed or maybe dedicated to that deity or something. Thank you for your time.
All right. Well, small objects can be cleansed. There's the old tried method of burying it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, does it need to be in the soil, or can you put it in like a baggie and then put it in the soil, or a Tupperware?
I think it's better if you put it in the soil, if I'm honest with you. But I mean, if you want to put it in the baggie, just remember to take the baggie back out. Then dig it up again. Leave it over the full moon is best time to do it. Not the full moon, sorry, the new moon. Until it's passed.
You can always smoke cleanse it as well.
Yeah, you could smoke cleanse it, but let's come down to the nitty gritty of this. What would you do personally?
Personally, I would just wash it.
All right.
I'd be like, fuck you, bad feelings. Fuck you, bad feelings.
And I would wash it. And go to town.
Yeah, just go to town and be like, fuck. And then I put it back on. I'm sure it would be like, that was traumatizing. Thank you for that. The necklace would say that, obviously.
Oh, right.
And
I was wondering why you're saying that to yourself when you did it.
And, yeah. And then it would be fine, I imagine.
I think there's a lot there we have to unpack. Let's go back to Ozzy Tater.
Yeah. Let's go back, yeah.
Okay,
well, you asked, so...
If you're not completely mental... what I would suggest doing is actually re-evaluating why those feelings come up. Because if it is dedicated to a deity and it has a special meaning for you, the wearing of it brings up these challenging feelings every time you wear it. There may be a very good reason. It may also be that that is a lesson, a test even, that the deity wants you to confront. I know that may be difficult, but I also have similar jewellery that I wear. I would suggest reevaluating that and perhaps looking at why those feelings come up, because that seems like it's something you don't really want to go through and you're looking for a way of going round it. May not be possible, and for you, the deity wants you to do that. Wants you to go through that, because going through things is what transforms us, and many deities are all about transformation. Yeah. So that's what I would suggest. But in the way of cleansing small objects like jewelry and things, burying them somewhere on private property, obviously, where you can retrieve them, is a good idea. All right. You can also hang them in trees and things like that, as long as you can retrieve them and it's safe to do so. That's what I would suggest doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Ask Elwin. So let's get back to the topic at hand. And this is going to be a short podcast because it's our second time doing it, and I can't cope. To be fair, I can't cope. I'm already done with the podcast, and we're on episode 3.
On the edge.
I am on. I'm gonna throw something. But I can't.
Live in perpetual fear.
I honestly, everything has been going wrong. YouTube videos, editing,
this
software.
This is not even the time or the place to tell people these things.
I don't care. This is now an Amanda Venn podcast. I'm freaking done with it. I cannot cope, and I can't manage. So, if everything just worked the way it was supposed to, that'd be freaking fantastic. But I'm sorry, this is going to be a short podcast because I'm not going through the rigmarole of doing this again. So psychic burnout. Let's have at it. I think psychic burnout is when you're a psychic and you're burnt out, done and dusted. Do you have another? Do you have another definition, or is that all right? Let's move on to the next question.
Oh, this is it. This is where the podcast went.
This episode 3.
Where it's gonna just
season 4. We're never going past it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Right.
I'm glad you're with me on it. Let's fucking go. No. I'm glad you think it's funny.
Do you need to pause? Do you need to pause? And
no.
Take some time?
No, I want them to know how I suffer. How I slave. Maybe they'll send a tip in and say, for Amanda, I'm sorry you've slaved at this podcast and that it's still shit.
I don't think it's shit.
Excuse me.
I don't think it's shit.
I would absolutely define this podcast as shit.
Well, that's nice. What, the whole thing?
Any season where the sound doesn't sound good. Yeah.
That's the one thing with you. You can't stand
I can't
the sound.
stand the bad sound. I can't. I don't know how you guys listen to this trollop.
She's really selling it, folks. I'm trying to hold this together. I feel like that guy who interviewed David Blaine and he just didn't say anything to him the whole time. Just try and hold it together. Carry it, Elwin. Carry it. So, guys, why don't you just tell us? Write in and tell us what a great job Amanda does. Just try and talk her off the edge of that cliff.
Absolutely not.
We can do it. Right, so psychic burnout.
Yeah. I swear, if this crumbly, crackly noise is in the podcast, it's fucking staying in it.
Oh my goodness.
You guys are gonna have to deal with it. I'm not playing. What does being a psychic even mean?
Here we go.
Should we just define being psychic and then we can talk about burnout?
When you're physic, yes, I suppose.
When you're physics.
Psychic is in an altered perception or a heightened perception. I mean, we don't need to go into this. You can look up what psychic means, for goodness sake.
Yeah, but I want to know
what psychic means.
I would define a psychic as a person who has intuitive abilities.
an altered higher state of consciousness, perhaps perception. It's down to perception, isn't it? That's what it's about. And yet, when we use the word psychic, we don't refer it to perception. We also use it in the way of psychic energy and stuff like this. So,
I had a question, but keep going.
Go on, then ask the question.
I was just wondering. So, if are all witches psychic? Because they all have to be somewhat intuitive in order to practice magic.
You want the truth?
Yeah.
No, because they're not all witches. They're not.
Burned.
You need the cunning. You need to have a sense of perception of the knowing in order to actually feel these energies.
But Elwin, I think you're gatekeeping.
No, I'm not. I don't give a shit. It's not gatekeeping. Either you've got it or you haven't got the bloody the wherewithal to get it.
The gumption.
That's the thing. It takes hard work. You want to practice, you want to actually get the knowing, you want to actually develop psychic abilities, then get to fucking work. Don't just buy some bells, buy a flowy skirt and a fucking cauldron and be like, I'm a witch now. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, you can do that all you want and you can play around with your candles as much as you like.
Yeah. Like hex your ex-boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah, and all that shit.
Yeah.
But in truth, it doesn't really mean you're a witch. Unless what you're doing has the meaning and you're understanding it and you are calling forth those energies, summoning those energies and using them because you are able to feel them. So you know when something is working. You have that faith in what you're doing and how you're doing it because you know and you feel it.
Yeah.
There's a difference. So in truth, that's... I don't know, you'll get flack for that, but... It's like I can't just pick up a stethoscope and put it on and be like, I'm a doctor now. Dr. Elwin. Oh, yes, I can do that for you. Like, no, it's looking the part is great and it's fantastic, but you also need to know how to walk, talk the talk, and do. Do
you think you have to have aesthetics in witchcraft? I mean, it makes it nicer to have the aesthetics, but is it necessary?
It depends on what you think of as aesthetic. You know, for me, for instance. I've got stars on my wall. Now that's obviously because I do a lot of my work is on video.
Yeah.
And my readings and stuff. So it looks nice and I like it to look nice. However, the star, if you look, how many are there? There's 8 points to that star. Okay. It's similar to the Elwin star. But each one, I see them as almost a protective symbol.
Yeah.
You see. Also, I have my cat above me. I like my cat above me. He seems to like being above me when I work. And that, once again, is a form of my familiar, helps me with energy and stuff like that, especially when I do a lot of work. All these things that we see as an aesthetic, the jewellery that you're wearing, usually has a reason and a meaning behind it. One of the things I was saying about witches wearing black. We won't wear black because it's trendy or gothic. A lot of witches will wear black because it's protective, especially when you're out in public places and you're susceptible to energies.
It's like psychic dampening almost in a way, or?
More like shielding, really. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer to that would be no, you don't have to be psychic to be a witch.
You don't.
But you need to be
sensitive in some way. But you need to be sensitive in some way. You have to have an understanding. And that doesn't necessarily mean, like, for instance, what's the difference between a herbalist and a witch who works in wart cunning and craft?
Not much.
There is something. You see, a herbalist understands what the physical effects of a plant is. A witch understands the physical effects as well as how the spiritual implications of the plant will affect the spirit of the person they are treating. So that's what I'm saying. There is a subtle difference where witchcraft is something that we've already had, but it's been taken to the next level.
Right.
There is a spiritual echo or shadow that we work in of what it is. So in the way of wart cunning, in crafts and healing and making things, there is a shadow form behind that where we go deeper in how energetically it benefits us and the world around us.
Gotcha.
And it's nice for people to do the crafts and stuff, and they seem, what the word is, witchy.
Yeah.
You know? I actually quite like the term witchy because I would prefer people who are witchy to describe themselves as witchy rather than a witch. because otherwise it creates confusion. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, good.
I think that psychic burnout is the topic we're talking
Yeah, well, you said let's not talk about sober. Let's talk about what it means to be psychic.
Okay.
And so this is how we've ended down this very narrow, winding, bumpy road of which we cannot turn round.
Okay, well, I think that psychic burnout is, well, I define psychic as being intuitive.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if you're intuitively burnt out, you're probably using your intuition too much, or you're not protecting your intuitive energy. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah. Yeah. How do I explain it? For instance, when you're doing readings for people, imagine that every person that you do a reading for, because they want to find out something about their life ahead of them, behind them, right now. Mm-hmm. They come to you, and the thing is you can't just dip into that bit. You take on everything. You know when you're watching a movie, and it's a really emotional movie, and you get really invested in the character. Mm-hmm. It's like that. And you do that every time because you have to get the answers and see what they need to see. How many emotional roller coaster movies that invest you in the characters could you do in a day before you're like, you know what, I need to stop?
Probably like 4.
Yeah. Now do that every day.
Yeah.
After a while, your body kind of shuts down and it's like, I can't do this anymore. I need to kind of go on like flatline here.
Yeah, just a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to that overwhelming sense.
Okay.
Too many people, too many voices. Now, psychic burnout is also quite dangerous.
Right. Well, we'll talk about that next. First, I have to ask, what movie would your emotional movie be?
Lord of the Rings.
That's an emotional movie.
Have you seen it? You bow to no one. And then everyone bows to the hobbits. It was beautiful. Very emotional movie.
That's not an emotional
movie. It
movie.
is. How dare you? Oh my goodness. Don't get me going. Always gets me going, that bit.
I was going to say Up.
Up?
Yeah, the first 5 minutes of Up is so sad, where they go through their lives together.
Him and
his wife. Yeah, Ellie. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, that
Mr.
was sad.
Fredrickson. Bless. Adios.
The rest of the movie was shite. It was.
Elwin just replaced the first. When he really feels like he needs to cry, he just puts that on repeat.
I do. Every movie I'm watching, I'm like, right, I'm bored. I'm just going to pretend I'm watching Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
That's it.
That's so silly.
Yeah. Although, I'll tell you what, that was good, that One Life. That was very emotional. We were both blubbering in the cinema.
God, I couldn't even.
Yeah, that was a terrible date movie choice.
Yeah, well.
Let's go and see this, she says. Ended up just coming out going, that was really romantic. It was very nice.
So sweet.
Yeah.
I'm known to make good choices.
No, you're not. Right, so. Anyway.
I wonder if it helps your emotional maturity, is watching films like that repeatedly.
Doesn't help me.
Fair enough.
I think it desensitizes you to it if you watch it enough.
True. I mean, I work in grief support, and now people tell me their husbands died, and I'm like,
so.
I'm like,
so they're an
how
adult.
are you coping?
That's different. That doesn't mean in her work people tell her that, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, you see it, that's my whole job, is just relaying information and resources to people.
Yeah, I suppose you have to keep a bit of reserve. You have to create a barrier, don't you?
Yeah, it's the hard ones. It's when both the parents have died. Those are harder for me. When they don't have anyone. I'm like, that's really sad, actually. But now if they still have one person, I'm like, no. At least you're
1
still
out of 2 is
alive, I
not
guess.
bad,
Yeah.
Nice, babe. Nice. Very
It's horrible.
nice.
It is, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do get desensitized to it. And I imagine it's the same thing being psychic, though. Is that you
are psychic.
come
What do you mean you imagine it's the same thing?
I imagine that if you're doing like readings or something, you can build up your psychic tolerance. You can build up your, your intuitive tolerance to craft work.
Yeah.
Energetically.
This feels like this whole podcast this time is like a No Nuance November, but in February.
You want my hot takes, bitch? Let's go.
Fucking month is. Honestly. Let's see how many people we can piss off in one episode.
It's true. I'm sure that therapists and other people
she is
that work. I'm sure that people that work in trauma and ER and even police officers have talked about it. Like they do become desensitized to.
Well, American ones do.
Yeah. Well, even UK ones though. I watched that program and it said that there needs to be more support because they just don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Like about.
I think
most of their calls are mental health calls.
COVID's done a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah.
I've noticed a huge change returning into society with healthcare and different services. Everyone's just like, well, you'll have to wait or whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because there's such a backlog and everyone's so busy and it's made such an emotional impact on everyone's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodness knows what's going to happen when the next plague hits.
Jesus. Is that a prediction?
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
No, I'm joking.
So what are some effects of psychic burnout?
Death. No, honestly.
Really?
It can result in death.
So if you just kept on, like if you were unalive and you just kept reading, you'd eventually die.
Well, I mean, I'd need to stop and eat and stuff. But yeah.
Damn.
No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You just like keep reading forever and you die. Like, if you kept running forever, you'd probably die eventually, unless you're Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Unless you're Tom Hanks, then you survive.
Tom Hanks be running for a different reason now, but
Whee!
well, I don't want to think that's true. Tom Hanks is great, but anyways, that's neither here nor there for this. I think that there is a fine line where you have to push yourself. If you go to the gym, right? Yeah. You don't go and lift the heaviest weights. I don't know weights, but you don't go and lift the heaviest weights. I got my muscles from carrying stones because I'm very old.
Yeah.
And so that's great. That's a great title. But you don't go in and you start lifting what's a big one? Pound. I know in pounds, like 70 pounds, I don't know,
what are we saying?
kg, 50 kg, I don't know. But you don't go in and start that on your first day at the gym.
It sounds like we're in a wind tunnel.
But why is it coming back again?
I bet I edit this out and it'll sound fine and we're just talking and
we're just
talking
like what
the fuck are they talking?
What are they drinking in their tea?
Like, we don't hear no wind noises. It's just you guys. Maybe this mic is shit. I've never liked this
mic is not shit. This is a good mic and I'm going to keep
mic.
it.
I don't like
it. It's a blue Yeti.
Yeah, I think we need a new mic.
I'm not getting
I bet
a new
you
mic.
money that's what
this
it
was
is.
my aunt's mic. We need a new cable, if anything.
No, I don't know about that. Anyway, so what were you saying?
I don't know. So you build up a stamina.
Yeah.
And you do that same with your psychic development, your energies, right?
Right.
You build up, you push yourself little by little, then you rest. You push yourself again, you rest. And you build up.
Right.
If you continue to push yourself and keep pushing without that rest, what happens is you get sick. You get digestive issues. Mm-hmm. You get problems with, all manner of problems with your body, mental issues. Your fortitude mentally is difficult, feeling stressed, always feeling lethargic. Eventually, you can actually develop illnesses, very serious illnesses. Mm-hmm. You're more susceptible to certain things because your body is not fighting certain things,
right?
As it normally would, and it can be quite dangerous. And there's many people who've gone that route, and their health doesn't recover. If you push yourself completely, too much, at that point, you will not get back your psychic ability.
Jeez.
You can lose it.
Wow.
If you push it, you can literally break it, because out of self-preservation, your body creates almost like a wall. Your mind creates a wall that will stop you from using it because it's doing what it's best for its own interest. So that is also something you need to be careful of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are some effects? Like stomach pain, I know is one.
Well, stomach problems.
Exhaustion.
Like digestive issues,
Digestive
exhaustion,
Headaches,
memory, headaches,
yeah.
definitely headaches. Oftentimes...
Like, what's one you get when you know you've been pushing it too much? I know exhaustion is one.
Exhaustion is the big one. I get an extreme lack of patience. All of a sudden, I get very angry and frustrated at very small things, you know. Oftentimes, I just get a sense of listlessness. I just don't want, like, ugh, I don't... And...
Can't even be fucked.
I can't be fucked, no. She's tried, I can't. And no, but genuinely, it is horrible, and you don't want to do the things that you know will make you feel better. Even you kind of get in this rut, you know when you're in that kind of rut, and it can be tough. And when you try to push yourself, it's literally like walking uphill with something on your back. You're trying to do this and you can't. You'll often yawn, as well.
Yeah.
During a reading, if I'm starting to I will start like I can't stop yawning. That's a sign that I'm getting to the end of my battery there, and I need to kind of take a step back. Right.
So it's probably a good idea that you start taking note of your body's responses.
Oh yes, definitely. I don't. I keep pushing because I'm an idiot.
So how do you turn yourself off?
You ground yourself.
Okay. How do you ground yourself?
You go outside.
Okay.
You don't have to go outside. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to even stand up.
Well, you've talked to me before about turning the lights off in a house.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. You go throughout your whole body, and as though you're turning off the lights, you're on the way to bed. Sort of thing. So you start literally at the top of your head.
The attic.
You can start. Yeah, you start in the attic. I say start in the attic. You can start at the bottom, but I think it's better to start in the attic because you're working your way down. And you turn off the lights in the head. Dup, 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 boom, 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 down all the way down to turning off the lights, going all the way down until you hit the floor, and then everything is asleep. You shut down, everything's turned off, and it will feel like shit. You'll feel like you've been cut off because it's supposed to feel like that, you know. And it's rough. It is rough, but it's important. Another way is standing beneath trees and things. I find immensely helpful. But being out in nature in any manner, honestly, just curling your feet up in the snow, in the grass, in the mud, in the sand, whatever.
In the snow?
Yeah, I've gone out barefoot sometimes when I needed to ground, just stood there and curled my feet around my toes in the snow.
Absolutely not.
You don't have to do it for an hour. I'm just saying for like 10 minutes. But it's allow basically everything that is within you, because when you're doing this work, you are also susceptible to other energies that you are part of that are around you, that are of a lower base form than that of your spirit energy. And so you need to cleanse yourself. And so by cleansing yourself, you kind of earth yourself. Imagine yourself like a tree. You're sucking up nutrient, you're sucking up this life force from the ground, and it's pushing out to the top of your head in a way, into the atmosphere. And as it's doing so, it's like picking up all these blockages, all these burrs of stagnant energy, and carrying them, flushing them through you. All right, that's that idea of grounding, purifying, cleansing yourself. All right, and then after you've done that, I would recommend using the lights, shutting yourself down, turning off the lights one by one inside, as though you are a house. And that's it. That's pretty much it. The next thing you want to do is you don't do any other form of work, anything that's too emotionally draining. Go and do something that is repetitive, something that you know what's going to happen. Read a book that you've read before, watch a movie that you've read before, take a walk that you know the route of, and just be a human being. Nothing else than that. Do human being things, do silly things, do stupid things, and spend the time that you need. It's the best way to recover. All right, because the thing is you think, oh, I'm psychically burnt out, I'll go and have a rest. It doesn't work. That's your body is resting. Your body is resting, and I guarantee you, when you have a burnout, you go and rest and you feel, right, I'm good now. You'll get half an hour into doing some more work, spirit work or something like that, and all of a sudden you feel, oh, I feel terrible again. It's different. It's a different energy that you're using. You need to replenish your spirit energy. And the best way to replenish your spirit energy is once you've recovered the body and looked after it, do something creative.
Fill up your cup.
Yeah, do something creative for you. Do a painting, do a drawing, take sculpture, whittle some wood. Do something that creates and expresses you. It gives you this wonderful feeling of accomplishment. It gives you this feeling that you have now had a little conversation with your spirit in a way. You've had a little heart to heart, and this is the product of that conversation. You know, what you have there. That alone will benefit you so much more than just having a sandwich and a nap.
Yeah. I like that.
What do you do?
I mean, I fill up my cup every morning by doing yoga when I first wake up.
Yeah.
I do my yoga for like 20-30 minutes, and I never push myself. If I feel like doing more yoga, I do. If I just want to do a couple of stretches, that's what I do. And just kind of intuitively take that on board. And then usually I try and meditate for a few minutes, depending on how the kids are acting. And I go for walks, as you know. I'm an avid walker. I love walking, and that's why I wanted a dog. It's because I like walking with someone.
You can walk with me.
No.
We
That would drain
walk.
my cup.
Nice. I like walking. I like walking on the beach.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Walking on the beach is nice.
That
The noise of the ocean is very nourishing as well.
It is.
I find,
Before it kills us.
As it slowly
encroaches
upon the beaches, and we're working very hard to restore the sand back.
But for the time being, it is our friend. Let it energize us.
Do you know what? I found out why. This is a local story, so you guys can just fast forward to.
No, they're nosy. They want to know.
But,
go
on White Rocks Beach, which is a beach near us, they're doing some restorative work. Yeah, we saw the other day, and I saw online that it has to do with the. I think it has more to do with the golf course that's above the beach, that they don't want the dunes. So the dunes are slipping down, but the golf course is upon the dunes, isn't it? And it protects the privacy of the golf course. So I think more so that the golf course is to blame in this situation than the actual
fucking golfers.
Restoration of the beach. They're shoring up the parking lot, and it's more so to protect the side of the dunes that the golf course is on than it is anything else.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
I know. I was like,
the amount of money and time that goes... It's same in America, wasn't it? That goes in so a load of middle-aged fucking right-wing men can just hit a little ball around on a fucking piece of green.
So much
because
water
they don't
goes
want to
into
go
it.
home and spend time with their wives.
So much energy. It's wild.
It is, absolutely. Nothing says I'm overprivileged than a golfer. I'm sorry if you're a golfer, but that's how I fucking feel. All right? You had one guy who was your advocate for against all those things, Tiger Woods. And he fucked it all up, but just by his actions alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we love you.
We love you, unless you're a golfer. Piss off.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.